I have a strange little story for you. Now, if you don't keep up with absolutely anything on YouTube, then you wouldn't know that Pewdiepie is on a break. But if you're watching me, you very well might know that Pewdiepie is on a break. That's just, people talk about it. I think the point is he hasn't taken a break for like 7 years or something like that. So currently Pewdiepie is nowhere to be seen, except in some people's Instagram posts because he's visiting friends in Japan. I don't want to say that, Pewdiepie copies me, but I disappeared for 3 months because I was in Japan and, That's a joke. People take me too seriously when I say that Pewdiepie copies me. Now, if you follow the story any further, you may have seen some internet articles about it. And that's kind of what I wanted to touch on today. There's this weird string of articles about Pewdiepie, as there always is, but I just find this narrative so bizarre. No moi, it's Joinen. And it starts off with, thank God Pewdiepie is finally gone. Which is already a kind of hard-hitting title, but it just immediately gets worse. In his farewell video before taking an indefinite break from YouTube, Pewdiepie said, "I need to do this. We need you to even more, Felix." We have author W.E. Messamore speaking on our behalf when he says this. One of the funniest things about this article is that it kind of breaks it down into a couple of dot points for you. If you just don't have enough time to read the article, it can be summed up by saying this. Pewdiepie joked for years that he was out of good ideas. Yeah, we could tell after all the racist and anti-Semitic scandals. Felix jumped the shark ages ago in internet time, okay? Let's just roll with this a little bit and see what W.E. has to say. Pewdiepie has joked for years that he'd run out of ideas for new videos. Good to see the king of YouTube has finally taken the joke seriously. We could all use a break from listening to him scream and snicker through another mind-numbing Minecraft video. All of us, aside from the tens of millions of people who do watch every single mind-numbing Minecraft video. Finally, YouTube won't be recommending yet another you laugh, you lose video that's drier than burnt toast. I have never come close to losing any of those challenges, and when Pewds loses, it's so forced he should have made the challenges you cringe you lose. Honestly, there's better acting on reality TV dating shows. What? Dang! Lay off the roast a little bit, W.E. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Or should we say, the Shellberg? Thank you. No, please. We could really tell Pewdiepie was out of ideas when he started edgelording for views on a channel with young, impressionable subscribers. Why did you choose the dark path for the views, Pewds? You were supposed to be YouTube's chosen one. I actually love Pewdiepie. I really do. You're making it very obvious. Here are 5 reasons why we all need a break from Felix. I'm getting a bit of a weird vibe. Like, I'm getting mixed messages here from the setup of this article. Like, I feel like this is just another trashing on Felix article, but he's trying to gain some sort of ground by saying, I actually love Pewdiepie. I really do. That sentence there, I feel like only exists to give his argument a better standing, because it doesn't really seem like he does love Pewdiepie, and that's fine. You don't have to love Pewdiepie. But as this article goes on, you'll kind of start to see how this is just another one of these I hate Pewdiepie articles. Number 1, the time Pewdiepie said the N-word. Meaning, we all need a break from Pewdiepie because of that time he said the N-word. When John Mayer used the N-word in a Playboy interview in 2010, he disappeared from the face of the planet. That's just not true. John Mayer is still just as big as he ever was. We still haven't heard from him a decade later, but somehow Pewdiepie got away with saying the N-word on a live Battlegrounds stream. This is straight up calling for an absolute cancellation because of the N-word. I agree that you should not be saying that. It's just not a word that should be in your vocabulary at all. And that's its own topic. I guess some people are willing to forgive and some people aren't willing to forgive, which I suppose is fine. That's his stance. The second reason why we all need a break from Felix is because of the Death to All Jews stunt. Then there was the time Pewdiepie used a freelancer site to hire 2 men to hold up a banner that read Death to All Jews. It wasn't just the shameless shock jocking for views that made this bad. It was that Pewds didn't have the fortitude to hold his frame after such an audacious stunt. Like he was actually caught off guard by the ensuing backlash. Again, I'm not necessarily going to come to PewDiePie's absolute defense here and say that he should have done this or that it wasn't a bad idea at all. 3, bashing Finland. for planting trees. Wait, what? Felix couldn't even make a farewell video without getting himself into trouble. He made fun of Finland for planting millions of trees, saying no one cares. But he couldn't even get their national flag right while bashing them. Dude, you're from Scandinavia. Someone tell Pewdiepie that was the Norwegian flag. That sounds like a clear joke, but I missed this.
Finland, who plants 150 million trees a year. Team Trees planting 20 million trees. Shut up, Finland! No one cares!
I'm starting to get the picture that this person just doesn't get Pewdiepie. I don't get this at all. But he couldn't even get the national flag right while bashing them. Dude, you're from Scandinavia. Someone tell Pewdiepie that was the Norwegian flag. Dude, someone tell WE that you don't understand a joke. It cannot be more obvious. Obviously, he knows what the Finnish flag is. Obviously, he knows that's not the Finnish flag. Not even getting into the fact that that video, it's a good chance it wasn't even edited by Pewdiepie. It's a comedy channel. Like, how are you gonna say that that little remark is the third reason out of 5 that we all need a break from Pewdiepie? There was that one time he said no one cares. If you can't forgive Pewdiepie for saying the N-word, then fine. If you can't forgive Pewdiepie for the Keemstar Death Toll juice stunt, then fine. But not being able to forgive Pewdiepie for a joke about putting the wrong flag up when he said Finland, that's not fine. Pewdiepie mocks the free press. As a journalist, it really irked me when Pewdiepie mocked the idea that journalism is important to a democratic society. What made it all the more galling was the context. He was making fun of news websites, asking users to turn off their ad blockers. For a content creator who's made a fortune from ad revenue on some of the absolute lowest effort, most mindless, least useful online content there is, jeez. Remember guys, WE loves Pewdiepie. He really does. It was pretty low for him to bash journalists for earning a living from their content. You're completely missing the point. I don't think the fact that Pewdiepie makes his money from the same way you do discredits him. If anything, that gives the argument far more credibility because he's in the exact same boat. But this really just seems like you're just offended and you just took his opinion a little bit too seriously. Number 5, Pewdiepie sells out to shill dubious cryptos. There's enough confusion out there as it is, and a lot of people getting hurt trying to get rich quick with cryptocurrency. Pewdiepie made fun of the okay, blah, blah, blah. Be connect! For all his past mistakes, Pewdiepie has brought a lot of joy into the world. He obviously loves his fans, and he's added millions of laughs to the world with his channel. Here's wishing him the best. This is what I'm saying. There's like, I don't have a problem with disagreeing with Pewdiepie, but this guy just like comes out, writes this big article on like a couple of things that just really irked him, says that this is why millions of people that enjoy your content need a break from you, and then just tries to like cover it up being like, oh no, actually, I actually really love Pewdiepie, and you know, good on him. All the best. I just kind of think, bad journalism. Boomer review. Not too long later, he writes a follow-up article. This kid destroyed us for that Pewdiepie roast, and we love him for it. Of all the responses from Felix's bro army, this kid absolutely destroyed us for that Pewdiepie roast, and we love him for it. Pewdiepie posted his final video before taking a break from YouTube. After sending Felix off with a roast this week, CCN got a lot of responses. This kid's video was the most savage of them all. Rip my inbox, mentions, and DMs. The bro army's response was swift and overwhelming. It was truly humbling to see how much his fans love him. I just feel like this is such an immature response to criticism. It's not that you just don't like Pewdiepie and people are offended by that. It's just objectively a bad article. Ace Stone's response video stood out from the rest of the pack. I'm gonna have to take an L and admit he got us pretty good. There's the video. You guys can watch that if you want. You can search up Pewdiepie and the news media. First, he quotes from the article, "I love Pewdiepie, I really do, and he backfires with point blank, so why did you write this article?" And then drops this burn, blah, blah. He also called us out for pandering to boomers. Blah, blah, blah. This is where it just gets mean. Ace then performs an impression of me writing the Pewdiepie roast. I almost cried at this part, and then there's the bit. But one point I have to correct Ace on is when he says giving your opinion is something that you shouldn't be doing on a news site. An op-ed, short for opposite the editorial page, is a type of column where journalists are encouraged to share their opinions. Ace, we'd love to have you join ccn.com one day. We are hiring. He may only have 25 subscribers right now, but someday Ace might give Pewdiepie a run for his money. I have it on good authority that my boss would love to hire you at CCN in a few years. Maybe he'll give you my job. Again, I just think this is so petty. It's like he can't deal with the criticism, and so he takes some kid's roast video and then just sort of like patronizes him by being like, wait, maybe one day we'll hire you. Because, you know, everyone wants your job, WE. But it doesn't even stop there. This whole thing continues. Another article from WE. The real reason PewDiePie quit? His fans are unbelievably annoying. There's so much wrong with this title already before we even get into the article. Like, first of all, he didn't quit. He's just taking a break. He's in Japan. He's doing karaoke with his friends. Just trying to catch a break, you know? So this comes from the fact that soon after PewDiePie left YouTube, his editor told Metro they have the most annoying fans ever. Felix needed a break from the bro army. PewDiePie is relaxing in Japan after taking a break from YouTube. Meanwhile, his editor made this candid remark. PewDiePie fans are actually the most annoying fans ever. I love them, but they're so annoying. Earlier this month, I got swarmed by annoying PewDiePie fans for roasting Felix in a farewell op-ed. It was exhausting. I'm not gonna read this whole article, but pretty much this is kind of just like another excuse for him to be like, PewDiePie fans have no taste for roast. One of their biggest grievances was that I was too dense to realize PewDiePie was just joking, not seriously bashing tree planting. The bro army also insisted PewDiePie knows he displayed Norway's flag, not Finland's, and did it as a joke. Why can't they just acknowledge even a minor fault like a geography slip up? You can still like someone even if they don't know the national flags of neighboring countries. Okay, first point, he's doubling down. Like he's still, why can't you acknowledge that you just didn't get the joke? It's so clearly a joke. But secondly, you say you can still like someone even if they don't know the national flags of neighboring countries. Then why was that one of your 5 points about why we need a break from him? Can you not see the irony in that? You list only 5 reasons why we need a break from him, and one of them is that he gets his flags mixed up, which is very clearly a joke, but whatever, let's say it's not. And then in your own defense, you say, hey, you can still like someone if they get their flags mixed up. It's just so messy. He finishes off by saying, I gotta say, I feel for Felix now. Can't imagine what he has to put up with. Just 1 week of interacting with a small number of his fans was exhausting. He deserves this break. Again, this is just so obviously an attempt to discredit people's legitimate responses. Pretending to be sympathetic of PewDiePie, being all like, oh geez, PewDiePie has it tough, you know, when he just wrote a bad article. Like this whole drama is just continuing with him just like belting out response after response to people responding to you, and you just being like, oh, you know, geez guys, you're taking me too seriously. You know, here I am just putting my opinion out there and you guys can't handle it. It's like, that's the whole point. If you're criticizing him so hard, you should also be able to take the criticism just in stride. Like, I think that in general, it's just like each time you respond to these, it just seems pettier and pettier. I think it's funny that they have to include disclaimer, the opinions in this article do not necessarily reflect the views of CCN. It's like CCN is getting bad press in this and they're like, hold up, WE, like, geez, you're giving us some real bad press here. We're just trying to make a living with this good website, and all of a sudden, like, you and your bad articles is causing a lot of strife for us. As we continue on with this story, on the same website, a different author, William Worrell, posts this article, PewDiePie and Linus Tech Tips, YouTuber burnout is serious. And again, I'm not going to read the whole article, but this guy just respectfully addresses YouTuber burnout. He talks about PewDiePie taking a break. He had joked about it for a long time, but when it came time, he went for it. Good thing too, since it could have all caused him serious psychological stress. You see that? That's the real reason. That is a nice person's response to him taking a break. It's like, oh, good for him, because he's been doing it every day for 7 years now. You know, psychologically, it's probably a good idea to take a break. This article doesn't even address the other author's articles. And then it just says an open letter to Linus and PewDiePie. And it just says, I want to finish this piece off by saying something. It's okay to walk away, not just take a break, not just go on hiatus. If you feel you need to stop, you should stop. What's interesting is that watching Linus's video, it seems like he actually kind of does want to retire, and I get that that applies to him. But PewDiePie has said countless times that he's just obsessed with making videos. He just loves making videos. And he's said countless times that he is in the perfect position to stop whenever he wants. I have no doubt that the day he gets bored of it, he'll just stop. He doesn't necessarily need your permission, but I understand the sentiment. I think this is a respectable way to, as a journalist, to report on this whole situation. But BAM! WE strikes again. Like, this story just doesn't stop. WE chimes in another time, February. It's been ages now. The PewDiePie drought. Grieving fans binge final video 19 million times. And the strangest thing about this article is that just quickly browsing through it, there is no mention of his previous articles and his previous stance and very clear opinions on PewDiePie's content. And it's just a genuine article about PewDiePie. It's like, oh, here's his video and here's a bunch of comments that people have left on it. And then right at the end he finishes, we don't know how long PewDiePie will be gone, but based on the outpouring of love from his bro army, his return won't come soon enough. In a weird way, it's kind of like a complete 180 on his whole position on PewDiePie. He's had enough of being hated by the bro army, and so he just writes a genuine PewDiePie article about like, hey, this is what PewDiePie fans are saying about PewDiePie. It's so strange. Obviously, I've been putting my opinions on this guy's articles, but like as a whole, the complete story, here's how I think it goes down. I think WE is just like me. He's just like the commentary channel that you watch on YouTube. You've got to make the content. And so in some regard, you end up making videos about things you don't necessarily care that much about. And I think when he wrote that first article about PewDiePie, that's what the situation was. I don't think he actually cared that much about PewDiePie, but as a journalist, it's very much a safe article to make when you just write something about how much PewDiePie sucks. And obviously, it was a topical thing at the time. PewDiePie had just announced his hiatus. It was like the same way any of us YouTubers do. We go, all right, well, now's the chance to hopefully get a topical viral video, in this situation, article. And it did very much go viral, but all of a sudden, this guy's half-hearted article goes nuts. And all of a sudden, people are pulling you up on it, being like, I don't think you really know what you're talking about, at least with some of these points you're making. Then we get a couple of follow-up articles where he's just absolutely doubling down on his opinion. And I think this is one of those situations where what ends up happening is that because he's forced to double down on his opinion, he ends up developing a far stronger opinion than he ever had in the first place. And he's almost forced into that corner of being like, here's the real problem with PewDiePie's bro army. They're crazy. Look at them. They're attacking me. Even PewDiePie's editor says they're annoying. When I didn't think he really cared too much in the first place. And I think this last article is kind of a sign of that. He's sort of like, yeah, right, yeah, I'm done with that. I guess I'm the PewDiePie guy now. But anyway, here's a random article about PewDiePie that won't cop me so much hate. But look, I don't know. What do you guys think about the whole situation? Do you think WE was too harsh on PewDiePie? Do you think I was too harsh on WE? Am I just a crazed bro army fan who cares about PewDiePie too much? In the words of WE, I actually love WE. I really do. Anyway, we'll get on to a little bit more lighthearted video next time. I am keen to have a little bit of a discussion going on in the comments. I want to know what you guys' opinions are. Maybe it's not a straightforward thing. I just think that the way this guy went about it was just kind of all wrong.
Thank you for watching my video, but now that it's done, please watch another one.